In a school that seems perfectly ordinary, there lies a door that must never be opened. A window leading to a parallel realm, where forgotten souls still wait to be replaced. When Akira accidentally peeks through the cold glass, he awakens a darkness sealed away for 20 years. And from that moment on, there is no way back. Chapter 1. The Window That Never Closes. At the end of the third-floor hallway, where the lights always flickered dimmer than anywhere else, there was a door leading into the old classroom 3-4. No one remembered exactly why it had been sealed off. New teachers claimed it was due to structural issues. Old students would only shake their heads. Greater than, "Don't go near that place. At night, it doesn't belong to us." Akira, a second-year student and a member of the school newspaper club, never believed in such nonsense. He loved exposing rumors, to prove fear came only from imagination. One late evening, long after the final bell, Akira stayed behind to finish an article. As he was about to leave, he noticed a faint light leaking through the crack of the 3-4 classroom door. "No way, there's no electricity in there." Curiosity outweighed caution. He approached the dusty nameplate that read, Class 3-4. His hand reached for the knob. Click. It wasn't locked. A blast of cold air rushed out. The room was pitch black except for the large window at the far end, slightly open, rocking back and forth as if touched by wind. Yet Akira felt no breeze on his skin. He pointed his phone flashlight inside. The desks were scattered as though the students had just left in a hurry. A tattered black curtain draped over the window shifted gently, as if someone stood behind it. Then came a knocking sound. Tock, tock, tock? Not from the door. Not from the desks. It came from the window. Akira swallowed hard. Probably a branch, or a bird. Step by nervous step, he approached and lifted the curtain. His breath stopped. Outside the window wasn't the schoolyard. There was no walkway, no opposite building. Instead, an identical classroom, but older, darker, and terrifyingly distorted. The desks there were perfectly aligned, all facing the window, as though they had been waiting for someone to look. That's when he spotted her. A girl, sitting in the second row. Long hair covering her face. Her school uniform soaked and tattered, like it had been submerged for years. She was staring directly at him. The glass suddenly formed handprints, dragging downward as if scraped by claws. The window began to rattle violently. Then, slam! The window burst wide open. The girl stood, her head tilted to a grotesque angle. A torn smile stretched across her face. She slowly lifted her hand and beckoned him closer. A whisper echoed right beside Akira's ear, though he was alone in the room. Greater than, "You've seen us now. You can't leave anymore?" His phone died. Darkness swallowed everything. Only the sound of footsteps remained, coming straight toward him. Chapter 2. The Black Curtain and the Knocking Sounds. In the suffocating darkness, Akira could hear nothing except his own heartbeat pounding against his ribs. No light. No voices. Except for the footsteps approaching from the window. He staggered backwards, his hands sliding across the cold floor in panic. Yet the exit door felt farther away than when he had entered, as if the classroom was stretching, pulling him in deeper. "No, I can't panic," Akira whispered to himself, voice trembling. Suddenly, a faint beep. His phone screen flickered to life for a split second. Within that brief flash, he saw the black curtain pulled slightly upward, revealing a pale face pressed against the glass, eyes wide open, lidless. Talk, talk, talk. 3 deliberate knocks. Slow, patient, waiting. Akira tripped over a chair and fell hard, the screeching metal legs echoing violently. A soft giggle followed. Thin, cold, and cruel. Then the black curtain was yanked upward. The other classroom, the twisted version, stood fully in view. All of the students there rose in unison, their heads bowed, before they all snapped upward with a sickening crack, staring directly at him. The window burst wide open. Swoosh. A long, ghostly arm reached out. Fingers sharp like knives. Grabbing blindly for Akira. He screamed, scrambling toward the real classroom door. His hand touched the knob. And a voice behind him whispered, "Greater than, Akira? Aren't you going to say hello to your new friend?" He turned. The long-haired girl stood just a few steps away. Her face was twisted. Mouth torn into a smile far too wide. To be human. Greater than, it's fun. On our side. Bang. The classroom door flew open from the hallway. The disciplinary teacher shouted, "Greater than, Akira, what are you doing in here?" Light poured in. The girl vanished. Yet behind him, there was no window. Just a solid brick wall. Where the window had been. No trace of the opening he had just seen. Except, the black curtain was now lying by his feet, drenched in cold water from the other side. Chapter 3. The SOS from the Parallel Realm. Akira returned to school the next day with dark circles under his eyes. He had barely slept. Every time he shut his eyes, the girl's torn smile came back to him. He tried to convince himself it had been a hallucination. But there was one thing he couldn't ignore. The black curtain he brought home, which had been soaking wet that night, was now dry, clean, like it never belonged to a rotten classroom. He shoved it into the bottom drawer of his desk at home, switched into a fresh uniform, and forced himself to school. But the horror was only beginning. Pushed in a note that shouldn't exist. During first period break, Akira opened his desk to take out a notebook. He froze. There was a folded paper inside. Old. Yellowed. Like it had spent years buried in dust. Hands shaking, he opened it. The letters were written in shaky strokes. In dark red ink. "Greater than, please help me. I am trapped on the other side of the window. I'm still alive. Don't let them take me." At the bottom was a name. Saito Mei, Class 3-4. Akira nearly dropped the note. That was the name of the girl who had gone missing 20 years ago. The very incident that made classroom 3-4 sealed shut. If this note was real, if she was still alive somewhere, then the nightmare wasn't just in his head. Pushed in a warning from someone who saw. Shiori, his classmate, leaned over. "Akira, what's wrong? Your face is pale." He hid the note in his pocket. But Shiori narrowed her eyes, studying him. "Greater than, did you open room 3-4 last night?" Akira stiffened. How do you know?" Shiori's voice dropped to a whisper. "Greater than, I heard knocking from inside. When I peeked through the crack, I saw a girl. But it wasn't you." Akira felt his blood freeze. She continued, trembling. "Greater than," she turned to look at me. And her face wasn't human. Pushed in another note appears. During lunch, Akira struggled to focus. He stared at his food when suddenly, he felt a tug on the back of his uniform. He spun around. No one. But another note now lay on his desk. This one was smeared, as if written under a thunderstorm. "Greater than, don't let them see you. They know you opened the window. They want to switch places." The last line was scratched so violently. The paper tore. "Greater than, if you come back, I'll be Ta." The rest was ripped away. Sweat cold as ice slid down Akira's neck. "Talk. The sound echoed again. Everyone in class, without knowing why, turned toward the window. Akira glanced too, and saw a silhouette pressing against the glass. A smile. Stretching. Too wide. They had found him. And they wanted him. On their side. Chapter 4. The story of the missing girl. Class had ended, but Akira wasn't going home. Together with Shiori, he headed to the school library, hoping to uncover the truth behind Saito Mei. The library was silent, except for the soft flipping of pages and raindrops tapping the windows. Akira found an old yearbook. Its spine cracked, Pages yellowed. Shiori pointed at a class picture. There, class 3 to 4 of that year. Akira leaned in. There she was. Mei. Long hair, pale face, and eyes that seemed to stare beyond the photograph. Under the photo, Saito Mei, missing, November 6th. Akira froze. Today was November 6th. Pushpin the disappearance that was never solved. Old newspapers in the library archive revealed. Greater than, at around 5 p.m., screams were heard from classroom 3 to 4. When the door was opened, Mei was gone. Only her phone was found near the window. The police ruled it a runaway case. But the rumors said, greater than, she was pulled through the window. By something. Shiori whispered. Greater than, what if Mei never died? What if she was trapped in that other world? Akira remembered the note. I'm still alive. His hands tightened around the yearbook. Pushpin someone who remembers too well. The librarian, an older woman, suddenly spoke from behind them. You're looking into room 3 to 4, aren't you? They both flinched. She approached them slowly, eyes heavy with fear. Greater than, I was here, when Mei disappeared. That room is a gateway. Akira asked. Gateway to what? Her voice dropped to a trembling whisper. Greater than, a mirrored version of this school. A parallel realm. Darker. Deadlier. Once the window is opened, those there will want to trade places. Shiori shivered. So Mei was taken to be replaced? The librarian shook her head grimly. Greater than, no. She opened the window first. And when she tried to return, something else came through with her. The librarian's hand tightened anxiously. Greater than, that's why the room was sealed. Because the window never closes on its own. Those haunting words echoed in Akira's skull. He remembered the whisper from that night. You've seen us now. You can't leave anymore. Pushpin one last clue. The librarian hesitated, then revealed. Greater than, Mei left behind a diary. Find it, and you'll learn how to save her. But her eyes darkened. Greater than, once you read it, they will know you're trying to stop them. Silence followed. Akira and Shiori exchanged a look. There was no turning back. As they stepped out of the library, they heard it again. Talk. The sound came from the hallway window behind them. Akira turned. A girl stood outside in the rain. Her head tilted, hair plastered to her face. And she waved slowly. Her lips moved silently. Greater than, come save me. Chapter 5. When shadows don't belong to their owners. That night, Akira couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, Mei's distorted face loomed behind the darkness. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Greater than, are you awake? Come to the window. I'm here. Akira's hands trembled. But he stood up and walked toward the window. Empty street. No one outside. Just as he reached for the curtain, a cold hand touched his shoulder from behind. Akira spun around. No one. But his shadow on the wall was grinning. Its mouth stretched. Far wider than his own ever could. The grin faded only when Akira turned on all the lights. For a moment, even the silence felt alive. His phone buzzed again. Greater than, you've already chosen. No turning back. Another message followed. Greater than, after school tomorrow. Room 3 to 4. Come alone. Akira swallowed a scream. Mei was calling him back. Pushpin, a morning that feels wrong. The next day, Shiori immediately noticed Akira's condition. You look terrible, she whispered. Are you okay? Before he could answer, their homeroom teacher walked in. We have a transfer student joining us today. Confused murmurs spread across the class. Footsteps entered. A girl with long, wet hair covering her face bowed politely. Her uniform, faded, stained, old-fashioned. My name is Saito Mei, she said. Shiori grabbed Akira's arm, terrified. Akira stared. The girl smiled. Her lips pulled too far. Skin cracking slightly at the corners. Greater than, nice to be your classmate. Akira. The class fell silent. Then every student suddenly began clapping. Not cheerfully, but mechanically. Like puppets. The clapping grew louder. Faster. Chaotic. Mei sat down. Right behind Akira. Her cold breath touched the back of his neck. Pushpin something wrong with Shiori. During break, Shiori pulled Akira aside. That's not Mei, she insisted. She's pretending. Akira tried to reassure her. But then, he noticed Shiori's shadow. It wasn't aligned with her body. It inched toward Akira. Like a hand reaching for him. Akira stepped back in shock. Shiori stared, confused. What's wrong? Akira looked up at her face. She looked perfectly normal. Only her shadow was twisted. Like it belonged to somewhere else. Mei's voice echoed faintly behind him. Greater than, they want to trade places. One by one. Mei had entered their world. And the process had already begun. Chapter 6. Look when the final bell rings. Afternoon. The rain still hammered the cold windows. The sky outside looked darker than it should. Almost like night had arrived early. As the final class approached its end, something shifted in the air. Akira felt it first. A weight pressing down on the entire room. The students stopped whispering. Stopped moving. Stopped breathing? Shiori leaned closer and whispered, terrified. Greater than, Akira, someone's calling our names. From the window? Before Akira could respond, the teacher slammed the chalk down. Greater than, it's time. Everyone looked toward the window. Every student turned in perfect unison. Toward the window. Not a single one disobeyed. Except Akira and Shiori. They kept their heads down, trembling. But a soft voice behind Akira's ear forced his gaze upward. Greater than, Akira? Look. Mei. Sitting right behind him. Staring with those empty, hungry eyes. And then, the lights died. The room fell into pure darkness. The final bell rang. Ding, dong. Ding, dong. The window slid open with a metallic shriek. But no daylight streamed in. Instead, Akira saw the other classroom. On the other side of the window. The parallel one. The deathly one. The students there rose from their seats and stared back at them. Eyes hollow. Smiles torn. Pushpin the count begins. Someone started counting. Greater than, 1. Another joined. Greater than, 2. More voices, overlapping. Faster and faster. Greater than, 3, 4, 5. Shiori clamped onto Akira's hand. Greater than, they're counting us. Akira realized. Greater than they were counting how many would be taken to replace those on the other side. Pushpin first target, Shiori. Mei stood, moving as if floating. She pointed straight at Shiori. Greater than, 1. Every student, both in this classroom and the one beyond the window, snapped their heads toward Shiori. Hands burst through the window, grabbing her hair, dragging her toward the opening. Shiori screamed. Greater than, Akira, help me. Akira lunged, pulling her back. With all his strength. A tug of war between life and the void beyond the glass. Shiori's body lifted off the ground. Halfway through the window, the bell rang again. Ding. Suddenly. Slam. The classroom door burst open. The disciplinary teacher yelled. Greater than, what is going on in here? Light flooded the room. The hands vanished. The window slammed shut. Shiori collapsed in Akira's arms. But her skin had turned corpse white. Up to her elbow. She sobbed, shaking violently. Greater than, Akira? They want you. They're coming back. The bell may have ended class. But for Akira, this was only the beginning of the final lesson. Chapter 7. What the camera revealed. After the nightmare in the classroom, Akira needed proof. Something real he could hold in his hands. So he brought his camera. He believed cameras could capture what eyes couldn't. Pushpin the first photograph. During break, Akira secretly pointed the lens toward the classroom window and snapped a photo. Click. He checked the screen, and his heart stopped. In the photo, a girl stood right against the glass. No eyes. A smile torn across her face, stretching impossibly wide, and written across the window in blood like smears. Greater than you. Belong to US. Akira dropped the camera. Shiori rushed to him, panicked. Akira, what did you see? He pointed at the window. But when she looked, nothing. Just a normal schoolyard view. Pushpin Shiori is changing. Shiori rubbed her temples. Greater than, I can't remember anything after the final bell. Only a voice in the darkness calling my name. Akira looked at her arm. The whiteness, the corpse-like transformation, had spread up to her wrist. Shiori tried to laugh it off, but tears filled her eyes. Greater than, if I turn into one of them. Don't let me pull you with me, okay? Akira grabbed her freezing hand. No. Greater than, I'm bringing you back. But Shiori only stared at him, terrified. Not for herself, but for him. Pushpin more photos, more truth. After school, Akira climbed to the rooftop. He took pictures in every direction. Click. Click. Nothing strange. Until the final shot. Akira froze. It was the old classroom 3-4. The door, wide open. Inside, a row of students stood perfectly still. Heads tilted to the side, as if their necks were broken. Their faces blurred, like static on a broken TV. And one of them was Shiori. Her form was fading, like she existed in two worlds at once. Her mouth open, silently pleading. Greater than, help me. Akira's knees nearly buckled. Pushpin May's warning. A voice came from behind him. Greater than, you saw it, didn't you? He turned. May stood there, wet hair dripping onto the rooftop. Eyes darkest black. She placed a hand on his shoulder. Greater than, they will claim you tonight. When darkness falls, the gate will open again. Akira shoved her away and ran. Her final words followed him like a curse. Greater than, if you don't come, I'll drag you there myself. Tonight, someone would be taken. And this time, it would be Akira. Chapter 8. The study session of the dead. Night fell. The school stood in complete silence, like a creature holding its breath. Akira returned. Not because he wanted to, but because he knew. If he didn't save Shiori, he would lose her forever. Shiori stayed close, but her steps made no sound. She no longer left footprints. She was slipping away. Pushpin the classroom reappears. They reached the sealed door of classroom 3-4. It was still locked, still bricked shut where the window once was. But Akira heard it, scratching from inside, nails dragging across stone. Scritch, scritch, scritch. The brick wall cracked. A voice seeped through. Greater than, class is starting. Come in. Suddenly. Blink. The hallway lights died. And when they came back, Akira and Shiori were no longer in the hallway. They were inside classroom 3-4. Desks slammed down from above. The blackboard materialized, with a burst of dust and old chalk. On the board, written in dripping red ink, greater than roll call of the living. From the shadows, they came. Students with no eyes. Yet they stared straight into Akira's soul. One by one, they settled into seats for their study session of the dead. Pushpin roll call. A sharp crack echoed. A teacher figure appeared. A woman with a mouth ripped ear to ear. She slammed her pointer stick down. Greater than, Saito Mei. Mei, the real one, appeared weakly in the back. Greater than, present. Greater than, Shinji. A broken neck boy raised his hand. Greater than, present. Paper flipped. The teacher's smile widened beyond human limits. Greater than, Kasaragi Akira. Every head turned toward him. Breath stopped. Shiori squeezed Akira's hand desperately. Greater than, don't respond, please. The teacher leaned closer. Voice like rust scraping bone. Greater than, you don't belong here? She flipped the page. Only one name remained. Kasaragi Shiori. Shiori's voice broke. Greater than, no, don't say it, don't. Slash. The teacher's fingernail gouged a line. Straight through Shiori's name. Lights flashed. And Akira and Shiori were thrown out of the classroom. Doors slamming behind them. Everything looked like a normal hallway again. But Shiori's right hand had turned completely transparent. She stared at it, horrified. Greater than, Akira? I'm disappearing. Akira grabbed the fading hand and yelled. Greater than, I will save you. I will save both of you. But from the other side of the door, Mei whispered. Greater than, Akira? You've already been called. A cold breath curled against his spine. Someone, or something, stood right behind him. Chapter 9. The Mirrored School. Akira and Shiori fled down the dark hallway. Until they reached the school newspaper club room. They shut the door, lungs burning with fear. Outside, thunder roared. Lightning flashed and revealed a warped silhouette of the school reflected in the rain. A version of the school that looked twisted, abandoned, and very, very wrong. Shiori sat curled up, voice trembling. Greater than, Akira? I can feel it. Something is pulling me into that place. Her hand was now almost completely transparent. Her reflection in the window was gone. She had no shadow anymore. Akira clenched his fists. He couldn't lose her too. Pushpin a desperate idea. He spread out the photographs he'd taken. The window, the old classroom, the rooftop image. Then Akira realized something horrifying. The doors, walls, and layout in the photos. They belonged to a mirrored version of their school. This place, greater than, exists alongside ours. A dark reflection. Shiori understood instantly. Greater than, if we find the right spot. In their version of the school, we might find Mei. And save me. It was reckless. Insane. But it was the only chance. Pushpin the cursed mirror. Akira remembered something else. Pushpin a large mirror on the second floor hallway. On stormy nights, its reflection showed a door that didn't exist in reality. That mirror was a portal. The lights flickered again. A coldness seeped into the room. Like something was breathing in the dark. Shiori grabbed Akira's sleeve, voice faint. Greater than, Akira? There's something outside the door. Akira peeked through the narrow gap. No one. But on the floor, wet footprints. Deep. Distorted. With only 4 long toes. Like claws. Leading. Straight to their door. Pushpin Shiori's body is failing. Shiori clutched her chest and groaned. Her neck jerked unnaturally. The blackness was spreading up her throat now. Greater than, Akira? They're calling me back. I'm not myself anymore. Akira grabbed her shoulders. No. Greater than, you belong here. Shiori sobbed. But her tears evaporated before hitting the floor. Greater than, I can't see myself. Anywhere. Not even in my memories. She was becoming a ghost of 2 worlds. Pushpin entering the other side. There was no more time. Akira slung Shiori's fading arm over his shoulder. He whispered, we're going to get Mei. Greater than, and we're going home. Together. They headed to the mirror. Its surface was cracking. Like a spider web. Something was trying to push through. A familiar voice crawled across the hallway. soft and chilling. Greater than, we've been waiting. The next class is starting. Akira turned. May stood there, smiling, drenched as if she had just climbed out of a lake. Her eyes glowed with endless hunger. Dash dash dash. No time to think. No time to run. Akira held Shiori tight and stepped into the mirrored world. Chapter 10. The Endless Hallway. May stood only a few steps away. But the moment Akira blinked, she vanished, as if she had dissolved into the darkness. Shiori's hand slipped colder. Her body moved more like a drifting shadow than a living person. They turned toward the mirror and stepped through. Dash dash dash. New moon. They enter the other side. The world twisted. Akira's vision collapsed into blackness until he found himself standing in a hallway that seemed to stretch forever. Lights flickered violently overhead. The air felt heavier, like breathing underwater. Akira checked Shiori behind him. Her feet didn't touch the ground. She glided along, silent, weightless, like a ghost struggling to stay tethered. Greater than, Akira? I'm scared. Her voice cracked with static. He squeezed her fading hand tighter. We'll get through this. Dash dash dash. Pushpin. The endless school. They walked. But each time they passed a door, it led to the same hallway again. As if the school was bending in on itself to keep them from reaching their goal. Then, a soft creak. One of the classroom doors opened on its own. Inside, pitch dark and full of whispers. Shiori pulled Akira's arm. Greater than, don't. That's not the right way. Her instinct seemed to belong more to this world than the other now. Akira trusted her and moved on. Dash dash dash. Pushpin. The roll call board. At the end of the hallway, a wooden bulletin board stood crookedly. Names carved deep. Every name crossed out with thick red slash marks. Only 2 remained untouched. Saito Mei and Kasaragi Akira. Below them, a third name slowly etched itself into the wood. Kasaragi Shiori. Fresh strokes. Like a blade writing her fate. A message appeared beneath. Greater than replacement. In progress. Shiori choked on her breath. Greater than, Akira? They're erasing me. Her neck convulsed. Cracks appeared on her skin, like shattered glass. A voice slithered from behind. Greater than, let me replace you. They turned. May stood mere inches away, dark eyes drilling into Shiori's soul. Her hand rose, sharp and shadow-like, to seize the last bit of Shiori's existence. Shiori screamed. Greater than, Akira. Dash dash dash. Pushpin. The chase begins. Akira slammed into May, knocking her aside. She stumbled back, laughing, and melted into darkness. The hallway convulsed. Doors flung open, and chairs scraped along the floor as invisible students rose to block their escape. Akira grabbed Shiori and ran. But with every step he took, she grew lighter, more translucent. She whispered, fading. Greater than, if I disappear? Save May. Don't let her suffer again. Akira tightened his hold. Greater than, I'm not losing either of you. He shouted into the dark. Greater than, May, come out. His voice boomed, echoing like water in a drowning chamber. The final classroom door at the far end unlocked. Light burst through, as the reflection of both worlds overlapped and twisted together. And May stepped out, smiling a tortured, blood-cracked smile. Greater than, it's time for the last lesson. There was no going back. Chapter 11. The girl returned by moonlight. The door opened, but instead of another classroom, they were staring at a warped schoolyard, bathed in a blood-red moon. The swing sets moaned in a windless night. The flagpole bent like a broken spine. The sky and ground seemed flipped. A nightmare where gravity held no rules. And standing in the center, a girl drenched in rainwater, her shoulders trembling, her face hidden beneath long hair. May. The real May. She looked up slowly. Eyes cloudy, but still human. Her voice shook. Greater than, Akira, Shiori? Are you real? Shiori ran to her, crying. Greater than, we're here to take you home. But May recoiled violently, terrified. Greater than, no. You shouldn't have come. They know you're here. They're watching. A knocking echoed behind them. Talk. 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 They turned toward a massive mirrored window behind them. In the reflection, 3 human shapes stared back. But not their reflections. 3 grotesque silhouettes. Grinning. Swaying. Waiting. Shiori's reflection was missing entirely. May burst into tears. Greater than, Shiori? You're becoming one of them. Shiori touched her throat. The cracks spreading up her neck like veins of rot. Dash dash dash. Pushpin the classroom of fate. May pointed with a trembling hand. Toward a lone classroom door. At the far end of the twisted schoolyard. Greater than, that room. Classroom 3 to 4 on this side. Is where it started. And where it ends. The door creaked open. Without a single touch. Inside. Only darkness. Shiori clung to Akira. Greater than, I don't want to go in there. Akira placed his forehead to hers. We'll face it together. May spoke almost in a whisper. Greater than, if she doesn't go in. Then you go alone, Akira. Because someone must enter. Someone must be chosen. Shiori trembled. Greater than, if I disappear. Don't blame yourself. May always liked you, but she never got to. May suddenly screamed. Greater than, get inside. Now. Dash dash dash. Pushpin the bell tolls. From the far end of the schoolyard. The old bell tower clanged. With a warped metallic screech. Ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. The ground cracked open. Pale hands clawed from below. Like corpses rising to take the living down. Akira dragged Shiori and May toward the door. Slamming it shut behind them. Pitch black. Their breathing echoed. Their fear too loud for silence to swallow. Dash dash dash. Pushpin something is terribly wrong. Akira turned to check on Shiori. And froze. She was smiling. But not a Shiori smile. Her lips were stretching. Tearing. Curling into a ragged crescent. May grabbed Akira's arm. Urgent. Greater than, don't trust anyone in here. Not even me. And not her. Moonlight filtered through the window. Revealing Shiori's true eyes. Not eyes. 2 bottomless mirror pits. Reflecting nothing. Shiori tilted her head. Voice hollow. Greater than, Akira? You'll stay with me. Right? Akira realized. He was standing with 2 girls. But only one was still human. And choosing the wrong one would condemn him forever. Chapter 12. The Bloody Roll Call. Silence swallowed everything inside classroom 3 to 4. Moonlight spilled through the shattered glass, casting haunting shadows across the dusty floor. May approached the teacher's desk. Her hands trembled as she picked up a black leather rollbook. Old, stained, edges crusted with rust and something darker. This book decided who belonged and who would be erased. She opened it. The first page was blank. Perfect white. Like it had been waiting for new names. Shiori backed away, pale and shaking. Greater than, what is that? May didn't look up. Greater than, the attendance for the living. Or the ones pretending to be. Her fingers hovered over the page. She called the first name. Greater than, Saito May, present. Blood red ink surfaced on its own. Soaked into the paper like veins spreading. Next. Greater than, Kasaragi Akira, present. Again, dripping red ink appeared. Then, May stopped. Shiori stared at her in horror. Greater than, what about me? Write my name. May's voice cracked. Greater than, if I write it, you'll be one of them. Shiori's legs buckled. Greater than, but I don't want to disappear. Dash dash dash. Pushpin the book writes in blood. May pressed the pen hard. But instead of ink, blood spurted across the page, spreading like a massacre frozen in time. The room groaned. Chairs scraped across the floor, as if pulled by invisible corpses. The moonlight turned deep crimson. The walls whispered, "Greater than, no one leaves?" Then the windows burst wide open. The cold sucked the air from their lungs. A hand, pale with long claws, shot up from beneath the floorboards and slashed Shiori's shoulder. Blood splattered across the desks. Shiori screamed, her voice warping into something inhuman. Akira rushed to her, holding her tightly. "Greater than, I won't let them take you." The hand clawed again, digging into her skin, like it was trying to peel away her humanity. Shiori's face twisted in agony. "Greater than, help me. Please." May slammed the rollbook shut. Thud. The claw retracted. The whispers stopped. Shiori collapsed in Akira's arms, whimpering. Her skin was fading faster, her shoulder nearly transparent. She would be gone soon. Dash dash dash. Akira held her close, voice breaking. "Greater than, I'm sorry, Shiori." Moonlight flickered. A voice seeped into the room. Shiori's voice. But not from Shiori's mouth. From the window. "Greater than, you promised. You'd save me." Akira froze. That wasn't Shiori. That was the other Shiori. The one already trapped. The one begging to switch. Dash dash dash. The rollbook glowed faintly. 2 names remained solid. Saito Mei, present. Kasaragi Akira, present. Shiori was no longer on the list. The room knew her fate. Mei's voice shattered the silence. "Greater than, it isn't over. They haven't stopped. They'll take more. Until the replacement is complete." Akira felt the world tilt and blur around him. They hadn't saved Shiori. They'd only bought a few moments before the final choice. Chapter 13. The thing wearing their faces. Shiori stopped crying. Not because the pain ended, but because she could no longer feel pain. Her skin was nearly translucent, and her heartbeat was fading like a weak echo. Mei stepped back into the shadows, her eyes dull and distant. Akira held Shiori tightly, refusing to let go. Then, a sound. Tap, tap, tap. Footsteps from the window. Akira turned slowly. They were here. His classmates. Familiar uniforms, familiar faces. But wrong. Their necks bent at impossible angles. Their movements jerky, like broken dolls. Their mouths split wider and wider as they smiled at Akira. With no sound, no breathing, no blinking, just staring. Mei whispered behind him. "Greater than, don't call them by name. They're not your friends. They're only wearing those faces." One student stepped forward. Kenji, who used to laugh the loudest in class. He lifted a hand to wave, but his fingers snapped off, falling to the floor one by one. Thick, black liquid dripped in their place. And yet, he kept smiling. Dash dash dash. Pushpin, they want a replacement. One by one, the figures entered through the window, their bones cracking from each awkward landing. Akira tried to move back, but desks and chairs slid across the floor, blocking every exit, trapping him. Shiori whimpered, her voice barely there. "Greater than, Akira? Don't let them take you." Her shadow was gone. And now, she didn't cast a reflection in the broken window. Mei's voice grew strangely calm. "Greater than, it always ends like this. One must replace one." She pointed directly at Akira. "Greater than, now choose." Dash dash dash. Pushpin, the rollbook decides life and death. The cursed rollbook lay on the floor, pages fluttering on their own, like a dying bird. Fresh blood coated the pages. 2 names remained unmarked. Kasaragi Akira, present. Saito Mei, present. But underneath, a line was slowly carving itself. Replacement required right pointing arrow 1 remaining. Mei looked at Akira, desperate. Greater than, I want to live again. Don't I deserve a chance too? Shiori clutched Akira weakly. Greater than, don't let me disappear. 2 girls. 2 souls begging for a future. Akira's heart tore itself apart inside his chest. Pushpin, a third option appears. The classroom door suddenly creaked open. A man staggered in. Breathless, horrified. The disciplinary teacher. He shouted. Greater than, get away from them. Now. Mei turned slowly. Her voice dropped to a venomous whisper. Greater than, you. The teacher's face paled instantly in recognition. Greater than, Mei. His voice broke, suffocated by guilt. Mei stepped forward. Greater than, you were there. You watched me drown. You ran. He trembled. Greater than, I couldn't save you. I was terrified. Mei smiled through tears. Greater than, then you can save us now. By taking his place. She pointed to Akira. Shiori stared in horror. The teacher collapsed, begging. Greater than, please, don't. Mei's expression darkened. Greater than, 1 alive. 1 dead. 1 returned. 1 replaced. Greater than, your turn. The students of the dead. Stepped closer. Shiori fading. Mei waiting. The teacher pleading. Akira breaking. The bell tolled. Bell DINH. Dong, bell. Time? Was up. Chapter 14. Who truly belongs to this world? The air grew suffocatingly cold. The moonlight in the twisted classroom turned the color of blood. The shadows stretched like hands. Ready to snatch a life the moment Akira chose wrong. Mei stared directly at the disciplinary teacher. Eyes burning with 20 years of agony. Greater than, you left me there. You ran. You let them take me. The teacher collapsed to the floor, face ashen. Greater than, I was scared, I'm sorry. Mei's lips curled into a smile that split her cheeks. Greater than, sorry doesn't give me my life back. She took a step closer. And then another. Akira jumped between them. Stop. Greater than revenge won't set you free. Mei's voice fractured with rage and heartbreak. Greater than, then tell me. Akira? Who should take my place? Her head snapped toward him. Pupils shrinking into tiny black needles. Greater than, who belongs here more than me? Pushpin, a cruel rule of balance. The rollbook floated open, pages turning wildly. Blood ink smeared across the page. 2 worlds, 1 life each. Under it. Required. 1 replacement. Mei pointed at Shiori, voice trembling. Greater than, she is half gone already. Let her stay. Let me live. Shiori wrapped her arms around herself, crying silently. Her body flickered like a failing hologram. Greater than, Akira, please. I don't want to disappear. The teacher sobbed into his hands. Greater than, let it be me. Please, let it be me. Akira felt the floor tilt beneath him. No matter what he chose. Someone innocent suffered. Mei, betrayed but alive in spirit. Shiori, his friend slowly being erased. The teacher, guilty but still human. His heart cracked. Pushpin, the past revealed. Mei suddenly stepped back. Her expression shifting. The scene around them rippled. Akira saw it. Sparkles Mei as a student. Sparkles begging for help at the window. Sparkles the teacher fleeing. Sparkles the window ceiling. Sparkles the dark hands dragging her into the mirrored world. Akira gasped. Mei? Greater than, you didn't deserve that. Her voice broke. Greater than, all I wanted was to go home. Tears fell. Real tears. The first in 20 years. Pushpin, the choice must be made. The distorted classmates closed in. Thud. 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 Mei's voice became a command. Greater than, choose the one who deserves to stay. Shiori grabbed Akira's arm, desperate. Greater than, Don't let them take me. I want to live. The teacher cried out. Greater than, I'll take responsibility this time. Let me stay. Akira felt like his bones were turning to dust under the pressure. He looked at Mei. Her agony. Her longing. He looked at Shiori. Her fading life clinging to him. He looked at the teacher. His shame consuming him. Then Akira made a decision. That no one expected. Pushpin breaking the rules. He grabbed the rollbook and tore it apart. Pages shredded like screaming flesh. Blood splattered every direction. The dead students shrieked. The classroom twisted as reality buckled. Mei's face contorted in shock. Greater than, no. What have you done? Akira yelled through the chaos. No one stays behind. Greater than the only thing that belongs here. Is this cursed rule? The world shook. Walls crumbling. As red moonlight fractured the sky. Mei's body ignited in radiant sparks. Her spirit breaking free like thousands of fireflies. She looked at Akira. Not with rage. But with peace. Greater than, you saved me. Her tears glimmered. Greater than, thank you. And she dissolved. Into the night sky. Shiori gasped as color returned to her skin. Her body solid again. Alive. The teacher collapsed, sobbing with relief. The window shattered, revealing the real schoolyard. Bathed in normal dawn light. Akira whispered. Greater than, we're going home. He stepped through the window. With Shiori and the teacher. Leaving the dying world behind. But just before he crossed fully. Cock. A soft knock tapped the glass. From the other side. Forced and familiar. Chapter 15. A soul in the wrong world, ending or beginning. Dawn light spilled into classroom 3-4. As Akira stepped back into the real world. The air felt warm again. Normal. Alive. Shiori stood beside him. No longer transparent. Her tears were real again. Her heart beat strong. The disciplinary teacher leaned against the wall. Breathing as if he had just climbed out of a grave. The cursed world was collapsing behind the window. The twisted sky faded into nothing. Mei was gone. Finally free. Akira exhaled shakily. Greater than, it's over. They left the room together. The school sealed off classroom 3-4 permanently. Workers tore down the remaining windows. And replaced them with concrete. Life went on. Pushpin weeks passed. Students returned to their routines. Laughter filled the halls again. Shiori's smile was timid. But alive. The teacher resigned quietly. Leaving behind only a note. Greater than, forgive me. And Akira. He tried to believe everything was finished. Pushpin a quiet night. At home, Akira placed the last photograph face down. The one with Shiori fading in the opposite classroom. He turned off the lights. Laid in bed. The wind was peaceful. Just when his eyes began to close. Buzz. His phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. Greater than, Akira? I still remember you. The cold in his chest returned. He slowly turned his head toward the window. There. In the faint reflection of the glass. A girl. Long hair dripping water. Uniform from a different time. Eyes filled with longing. Saito Mei. She raised her hand. And tapped gently. Cock. Akira froze. Her lips moved silently. But he understood every word. Greater than, we still have one more class. The curtain fluttered. Despite every window being closed tight. Akira's breath caught. As the corner of her mouth lifted into a tender, broken smile. Mei may have escaped the chains of the dark. But the price still shadows Akira's future. Because once you've looked through the window to the other world, those behind the glass will never forget you. The final lesson isn't over. The darkness is patient, waiting for the next knock.
Like and subscribe to Whispering Dark Tales for more chilling ghost stories.